current state chair, and before that he was our ED. He's done a great job. Just a little bit about Alex. He graduated from Auburn last December and has now moved to DC. He played, I probably would say, one of the biggest roles in Alabama this election cycle by turning our House and Senate for the first time in 136 years. And all our constitutional officers are now Republicans. We just got through ethics reform, which Alex had a big part in getting that drafted and get the votes whipped for that. Alex's plan for CRNC is kind of down with the 4 B's is what we've got it. We've got it basics, budget, building, and brand. And what we want to do is kind of talk to Chris about this and a few other guys, and Carl also had the same thing, is taking the CRNC from the national level and bringing it down to you guys. Feel like there's a little bit of disconnect. What's good for the southern states is not good for California. I mean, and sort of personalizing and getting your opinions on what you guys want. So with budget, our main goal is to help you guys get the tools and the skills necessary to fundraise your own money and become self-sufficient. And then also give you guys more access to the CRNC's, I would say, resources to help you guys fundraise and get your direct mail pieces going and that donor base built. After that, we go into basics. That's sort of the tools that we've talked a lot about, this being an off year. What do you guys do? Not really big elections going on. And that's to get your students, what the conservative message is. And that starts by giving you guys the tools to go out and teach people what that is. And Alex's plan for that was kind of a bus tour by chance, possibly, to kind of go around like main areas and just hold conferences for you guys and, getting your members involved, getting you involved, and try to getting a really big rally going into 2012. And then for a brand, like they said, you couldn't have asked for a better chair in ED this past 2 years. Zach and Jeremy have just done magical things with the CRNC. Really built up our donor base, really gotten our name and gotten us a seat in Washington. They, we're right up there with, the RGA, the RNC. We're right there with the big wigs. And that's another thing, is getting you guys connected to all their resources. I know the RGA started up here in Georgia, I believe. So getting that, back down here. And then, let's see, got 3 of them. Brand, budget, basics, building. There we go. You forget which ones you've done after a while. And building, and that's the big one. When we take the organization we have now, and you look at it, you say, where do you go from here? You've gotten to this point, and it's like, how do you take what we have and grow on it? And that's really and truthfully getting those connections that we have and just literally building on them. And bringing it back down to you guys. Like I say, that's Alex's big thing is, coming from Alabama, the South is a lot different than most parts of the country. And it's bringing it back to where you guys feel like you have a say, you have a voice. It's not just, there's a committee sitting up in D.C. and they're kind of sending us all of this stuff saying, this is what we found is best for you. We want you guys to tell us what you want is best for you and then help you devise a plan and get yourself off the ground. And then another thing with Alex's building is, in the past, they've had problems. We could get a new chair every 2 years. And with that comes, the new chair having to pick his cabinet and teaching them all what to do. And it's been talked about possibly getting a board of advisors that'll kind of carry over to keep the donors and not having to make those new connections with the new chair. And that way, if things would flow more smoothly and sort of, it wouldn't be that gap in what do we do now, So we're getting it off the ground. We're starting a platform committee, and that what we want it to be is consist of you guys telling us what you want to see in the next election cycle for CRNC chair in the next 2 years, what you guys really see and need improvements with. We want to, sort of like Carl was saying, have more of regional events and not just, we have an annual board meeting in New Orleans or Orlando. We want to do it where you guys kind of control what you guys talk about, what you feel like you need, and just have the CRNC there to help. But we do have a website up. It's Move CRNC Forward. You can go find all of our information on there. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here for the rest of the weekend. And I have cards if anyone wants it for contact info, if you want to get put on our mailing list. anything like that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions.